Hi there. I'm at the beach and it's North Devon and it's actually quite a cold day, but it's very beautiful. You can see the sand dunes behind me, and if I turn around you can see the sea. We're on a beach that has a lovely, lovely long, when the tide's out, it's just huge. I mean, it goes on forever. Look, there's hardly anyone here. It's fantastic. And I've been taking lots of photographs and trying to remember the colours, because phone cameras to generate never really describe the colours terribly well, but there are some beautiful greens and blues and the energy is fantastic and you can hear the sea and yeah, amazing. So let's see if we paint this. And that's beans playing in the distance, having a wonderful time. Bless it.
So this is the photo I'm going to be working from, and I'm back in my studio now. I've got my watercolour paper stuck to the wall with some painter's tape. It's £140 watercolour paper. It could be a little bit heavier and it won't wrinkle. Hopefully this won't wrinkle, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now I'm going to be painting using acrylics, but I'm going to use them quite wet. I usually use quite textured paint, but because it's a seascape, I think I'd like to try a more watery effect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the horizon. I'm using a painter's straight edge. There's nothing worse than a wonky horizon when you've got a seascape. So I'm going to try and keep it straight by measuring it. I'm just using a pencil here, and I'm going to just paint in the sky next. I'm using colours on a palette that I was using earlier. I've got, what have I got here? I've got cerulean blue, ultramarine, yellow ochre, lemon yellow, black and white. I'm mixing up a greyish blue for the sky, so I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. I'm using ultramarine blue, a touch of black and quite a lot of titanium white. I would often use raw umber instead of black, but I've run out, so I'm going to have to use black. It's worked okay. I always think that black really sucks the colour out of colours, so I do prefer to use a raw umber. I think it's sort of more subtle. Anyway, I'm quickly painting this in. I'm using a large brush. It's got quite long bristles. Well, they're not bristles because it's a nylon brush, and it's quite flexible, so the paint goes onto this paper really nicely. I'm using the painter's straight edge again, so I get that horizon straight, certainly for the sky. And as you can see, I've got different shades of blue and grey going onto the paper. I constantly mix up new variations with tiny changes in colour, and I think that really helps to add interest and depth to, particularly in this case, the sky. That little pencil mark is going to haunt me. I've had to, because I'm using the colours very thinly, it showed up. So I've painted it out with titanium white, and I'll have to go back over the sky at a later stage when it's dried a bit. Now I'm going to paint in the land in the far distant horizon. Now this is where you can create a really big tonal difference in what is otherwise quite a muted palette for this particular painting. And I'm using the cerulean blue mixed with black. It makes a very beautiful dark teal. Again, if you used a brown with the cerulean blue, it also makes a really gorgeous colour. I'm very roughly painting this in. I'm not really worried about the top of the mark, dark mark, that's the top of the land, because the landscape does vary and it has hills and goodness knows what else going on. It's not accurate. I've just literally painted it in. I haven't really looked at the photograph at all. Now, the interesting thing, and this is what I always encourage people to do, is to look, if you're using a photograph, try and distill it into shapes. So we've got a really big shape at the top, which is the sky. Then we've got a smaller shape, which is the distant land. We've got a sort of a triangle for the sea, which is at low tide, and a very big shape at the bottom, which is the foreground. So essentially, we've made 1, 2, 3 lines to create the rough key, or what I should say, key elements of this painting. And it's really useful to do this because it really keeps your compositions lovely and simple, and you don't get bogged down. I've also got a very simple colour palette, and again, with a simple colour palette, you don't get bogged down. Now, I've mixed some yellow ochre with some titanium white just to get that feeling of sand in the foreground, and I'm really just going to feel my way across this at the moment. There's a lot of water on the sand as the tide has receded, so it's really reflecting the sky. So it's not really like a normal beach in a sense, because it's water. It's like a mirror, really. It's a mirror, and so you can see a little bit of sand, but not a great deal. So I'm going to try and reflect the sky in the foreground. So again, I'm doing lots of little mixes, just changing the mix, adding a little bit of black, or a little bit of titanium white, or a little bit more ultramarine blue, just to continually add different shades, very, very slight differences into that foreground. I don't want to paint the whole thing the same colour, it just makes it really boring. So I'm adding some white in here, not pure white. I'm not using pure white anywhere apart from in the waves, and that's to try and reflect the clouds in the sky. So I'm just going back over the sky. It's easier on a second pass of a painting, because once the paint has dried on the first coat, if you like, I should call it a layer, not a coat. It sounds as though I'm painting a wall. The second layer, wherever you paint it, it may not be completely covering the first, but just filling in and adjusting things, is always much easier to go on, because you're painting on paint, not on paper, which tends to absorb the acrylic. Now, I've applied a white, which is far too, the tonal difference is too much. It's very subtle in this photograph, and I'd like to keep it subtle in the painting. So I've just knocked that back a bit with a sort of a more greyish mix. And I will put that into the, that cloud will appear in the sort of middle of the beach, if you like, to reflect the cloud in the sky. Now I'm losing bits of my dark tonal value of the landscape because I'm painting over it by accident. That's not a problem, I can paint that back in. That's just not a problem. I quite like putting a little bit of a lighter colour at the far horizon. It just sort of brings it to life a little bit, and now I'm using a dry brush to just mix that in. I don't want there to be an obvious line anywhere here. I just want that to be slightly brighter on the horizon. Now I'm going to get this receding sea in, and I've mixed up a colour which is quite blue, in fact, and I'm going to have to change it. It's just too bright. The sea or the ocean, if you live in a country that always refers to it as the ocean. I think it's only in the UK that we call it a sea. But it should reflect the colour of the sky, and this clearly doesn't. This is reflecting a blue sky on a sunny day, and so I've got to go back in and adjust that, and I will do that at a later stage. I forgot to wear my microphone when I was actually painting this, so I'm having to do a voiceover at this stage because there are so many things to remember when you're recording. And I was very tired yesterday because the clocks went back or forward or whatever they do, and we lost an hour's sleep, and I also woke up far too early anyway, so I was a little bit tired when I was painting this. I'm going to now put in the waves, and there are quite a lot of waves. This is quite a long way in the distance, so the waves are very close together, and I'm going to do it really roughly with a palette knife. I've mixed a little bit of black in with some titanium white, just a little bit, not too much, just to take the edge off that very bright white. It's quite tricky doing this with a palette knife. You've got to sort of get some on the edge and then run it carefully over the surface. Now, there's also some seaweed or something in the where the waves are breaking. It's difficult to tell from the photograph, and I didn't ever get close enough to the breaking waves to actually see what it was, but there's some dark areas which really add to the depth of the water and work well. So you're getting some tonal values there which are working in this painting. I can see that my painting is starting to buckle. I'm using the paper is starting to buckle. I'm using some quite watery paint, and that will happen. I'm hoping that it will dry flat, because quite often it does dry flat. But remember, this is a quick painting just to explore different ideas. And because it's on paper as opposed to a wooden board or canvas, you're not really so invested in it. And I always think when you paint on paper, you can be much more experimental, and people tend to be more experimental because they're not so worried about getting it wrong. Not that you can't correct it anyway, but it is a sort of a psychological thing that I think people feel braver when they paint on paper. So do try that. Now I've gone back into the land in the distance, and I've painted that back in because that was sort of disappearing, and now I'm getting rid of that sort of baby blue sea colour, and I'm putting in some quite darkish greys actually, but I do think that looks better. And now I'm going to reintroduce the waves because they've kind of disappeared, but I do like some of the marks that have appeared where the white paint was wet. It looks quite good. I'm using my palette knife again. It's not going terribly well, and I do decide to get a flat brush and use that instead, and that is, to be honest with you, is going to be much more successful. So if you do decide to paint something like this, I would use a flattish brush, or possibly a spatula. That might work better. I'm sort of getting to the end of this painting, and I know that it's important not to go too far and to keep it fresh. And it's quite easy to keep going and thinking that needs to be done, that needs to be done. But to be honest with you, it's better to leave it if you're not sure if it's finished, and then go back to it a few hours or maybe even a few days later. I just reintroduced those dark marks in the tidal area, seaweed or whatever it is. I'm fiddling around with that horizon again. I'm lightening it up a little bit. I think it's a tiny bit on the dark side. And that also adds a little more interest, because instead of being one flat colour, there are several colours in that now. okay. A few more swipes with my flat brush. I'm going to add in the cloud and the reflection of the cloud in the sand, the wet sand. This is when you're kind of just adding the details at the end of the painting, the little things that will just improve the overall painting. Remember, my mantra, which is not mine, but I am adopting it, is start like a builder, end like a jeweller. So just a few more layers of paint going on there. I think I should stop soon. I really think I should stop soon. Okay. I'm just getting rid of a few funny little marks. You always get a few funny little marks, I found. So always check your painting for those, because it's really annoying if you finish a painting and you know your palette's been put away and all the rest of it, and you have to mix up all those colours again, because invariably you don't quite get the same mix. I'm just putting a little bit more white to represent the waves, and this is when I bring in my flat brush out of frustration more than anything else, because it's really annoying me using that palette knife. It's just not really working very well. That's, as you can see, that's much more successful. It's working much better. Okay, right, I'm finished. If I carry on, I know I'm going to spoil this, and I think it's looking okay. It is a bit wrinkly. I'm going to leave it and see what happens when it dries. I'll lay it flat, I think, take it off the wall, lay it flat and see what happens. So, if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe, because then you won't miss anything. And it did dry flat, you'll be pleased to know. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching my work. I hope it helps you. If you want to learn anything in particular, please do leave a comment. And leave a comment anyway, it's always lovely to hear from you. So do subscribe, do hit the like button, it really helps my channel, it really does, and I really, really appreciate it. So thanks, and see you again soon. I'm just going to show you the original photograph that I worked from. There it is. And this is the final painting, and it did dry flat, thank goodness. Bye for now.